Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the data that Google Forms provides. So after you've given a survey or a quiz, you can go into the response tab here and examine your data. So just go into your Google Forms like normal. This tab right here, click on responses. It'll tell you how many responses you have. In particular, the one that we're looking at is my Period 2 Geometry Semester 1 final. So I have 27 students that had responded to this. Off the get-go, the summary, it'll tell you some good information. It'll tell you the average for the entire, number of results, in this case for my class, the median average, and then also the range. If you're not familiar with the range, smallest to the largest, tells you your low score and your high score. The summary as a whole, it gives you some good information. It tells you the most frequently missed questions. So for a semester final, that was very helpful. Or for summative assessment, that's very helpful in general. It tells, the way that my quiz is set up is I have first name, last name, period. So it will gather that information. In the summary, you'll be able to see all of it. But then eventually, when you scroll down, you'll be able to see by question. Question number 1, relatively easy question. I had 96% correct. So it gives you the item analysis that you may be looking for, so you can determine what the common mistakes are that your students are making. Question number 2, 25% of my students got this one as their answer, but it was incorrect. So that may be a good problem for me to look at and say, hey, well, why is a quarter of my kids thinking this is the answer? What was some of the most commonly missed questions again? Like question 3, question 19. Let's go look at question 3. Question 3, looks like a lot of people went for these two here. So I may want to look at, the distractors there. So it does give you the item analysis for looking into, what percent of my students did well on each question. And it does give you that quick snapshot towards the top here with the most frequently missed questions. I like that. By question, you can go through and do, like I have question number 1. You can see what each person's response was. For a multiple choice, that doesn't really come into much value. But if you have a question that's not multiple choice, if you have a question where they're answering with a paragraph, this is a good way for you to look at everybody's answer to a paragraph or a short answer response. You can see all of them for that question. So question I don't typically use too much for me as a math teacher, but I could definitely see where it's helpful for other teachers. Depends on how they use it. Individual, it's just that. It lets you see each person. So this is Mason. He got 35 out of 40. Perfect for doing your grade book, right? If you just want to enter in the scores, Liam got 38. Gabriel got 21. Shohei got 38. So on. So it's very easy for me to go through and see first name, what score they got, and so on. You can also look through and see if there's a particular student you want to know which one they got incorrect and examine that student. So in summary, there's right up here inside your forms, just click on responses. You have the overall summary. So if you just want to look at the entire class as a whole from a macro perspective, you have if you want to look at individual questions or if you want to look at an individual student. And so those are the 3 different ways you have to look at. One thing I do encourage, if you're a secondary teacher and you have several periods taking the same test, I would recommend doing a separate form for each of your classes. So for me, I did this for period 2, period 1, and for period 6. I had 3 sections of geometry, and it's best this way so you can just separate the data and kind of keep them in separate areas. If you did really want to do anything more with the data, you can always export it to a Google Sheets or Google Forms or Google Sheets. You can export it if you really want to export all 3 of them and put them in one spreadsheet. But what I like about this is I can quick look at all my classes. Here's how 6th period did. Here's how my 3rd period did. And then here's how my 2nd period did. So it's easy for me to look at all 3 of my classes and look at them separately. So that's a recommendation that I have. Let me know if there's any other questions you have. I'll just keep making videos to help everybody get really good at using Google Forms.